So hello, my name is Brett Brown, and I want to welcome you all to a conversation with Costa Rica. We are also want to thank you all for taking the time out of your schedule, and we hope that you find this as an informative, exciting, and fun event. We know that we are all zoomed out and over Zoom, so we went ahead and put together a rather impressive group of presenters. Time allowing, at the end, we will have the panelists answer questions that you can pose in the questions section of the Zoom meeting. Is that correct, Cheyenne, just to make sure that that's where they want to post questions if they come up?
Yep, it's the Q&A section and it can be found at the bottom of your screen.
Perfect. With that, without any further ado, I want to introduce you to our esteemed speakers today. We have quite an impressive group. From the National Association of Realtors, we have Alex Esquero. His position is as Manager of Global Alliances and Business Development at NAR. He has been at NAR for 5 years and directly oversees the relationships with the Spanish-speaking countries, and as the Director of NAR, the En Español program, which includes sharing resources, tools, and content for all our shareholders in Spanish, in the Spanish language. I want to thank you for participating with us, Alex, and appreciate you coming here. Unfortunately, Alan Lungo was not able to be with us this evening, so Alex is going to kind of fill in with a little bit of history information. So we're excited to have him here. Ofelia Ujaha is president right now and broker and owner of Costa Rica Soul First Realty. This has an emphasis on sale and rental of commercial and residential properties in the west zone of San Jose, the capital, and the fastest growing area of the country. She has been a director of numerous projects in Costa Rica and has more than 20 years of experience in real estate. She is the current international director of the Costa Rican Chamber of Real Estate Brokers, CCCBR. Ofelia is the president-elect for 2021 of the Real Estate Confederation of Latin America, CILA, and was CILA's North President from 2017 to 2019. As well, she was an international member of the Board of Directors for NAR in 2017 and serves as an active member of CCCBR, NAR, CILA, BIATSI, and has earned her CIPS designation. Ofelia holds a business degree from Cardinal Cushing College in Boston, Massachusetts, and graduated with an interior decorator affirmation from LaSalle University in Chicago, Illinois. In 2014, Ofelia worked on the NAR President's Advisory Group to develop and discuss positions that offer best global business practices. I want to say, and I wanted to add, she is so modest. We were so pleased when we were down there last year to have found out that Ofelia is a past Miss Costa Rica.
Oh my goodness!
Thought that was such a thrill. I said, we didn't know it. We spent days with her and had no idea. So I'm sorry, Ofelia, I let that one out of the bag. But I just thought it was such an award that you don't even recognize.
Well, it's absolutely evident, Brett.
What was that? Ask her for the evidence.
Absolutely evident.
And also with us is the gentleman there, Larry Graciano. Larry moved to Costa Rica in 2002 from a little island very close to Naples, Florida, which is where we are, Sanibel. And in 2014, he had become the broker associate with the Tamarindo branch of the Caldwell Banker office in Costa Rica. Since 2014, he's been a board member of the Costa Rica Global Association of Realtors, CRGAR. On behalf of the Costa Rica Global Association of Realtors, he is regularly the Spanish-speaking delegate for the annual General Membership Assembly of the Confederation Inmobiliaria Latin America. Founder and board member, the former president of Nandamoho, sorry about that, Valley Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber represents the 4 Pinnacle Beach communities that coincide with the area where he resides, which is in the Guanacaste area of Costa Rica. This group also spearheads and supports various environmental, touristic, and security endeavors, among others. In 2004, he was the founder and the member of a nonprofit organization called Salve Manos. Salve Manos is dedicated, and I love this. I had someone ask me, so if you're building bridges for the cars and people, or are you building bridges for the monkeys? I said, okay, I get it. So Salve Manos is dedicated to the organization of placing bridges over roads and power lines to ensure that the howler monkeys can maintain their extended habitat among the growth of the area, and to specifically make sure that the number of deaths is reduced via car accidents and electrocutions. Currently, there are more than 1,000 bridges in the area, theoretically saving approximately 20,000 monkeys a year. Previously, Larry had built and grown small businesses in the United States. And welcome, Larry.
Thank you very much.
Our last speaker is Adrian Mauro Solano. Adrian is the owner and CEO of AMS Real Estate Services of Costa Rica and is a consultant and advisor for developers in Costa Rica. He is also a law student at Universidad Federal de Costa Rica. Is that correct? Are you currently? Congratulations. And that, again, another shy person who I've known for a couple years who've never said a word about it. Adrian has earned his Certified International Property Specialist, his CRS, IRM, ABR, and SRS designations and certifications, as well as being a member of CREA. Adrian served as Vice President of the Costa Rican Real Estate Broker Chamber from 2014 to 2016, and will now be serving as President through 2021. And we are very, very happy to have him and welcome Adrian.
Thank you.
With that, what we're going to do is I'm going to start off here with Alex. And Alex has a little bit of information that he'd like to share with everybody before we get into the three Ticos and Ticos presentations. Alex.
Well, thank you so much, Brett, for the introduction. First and foremost, I'd like to start by saying that I am truly honored to be on this panel as the NAR staff person who handles, as you very well said, the relationships with the Spanish-speaking countries. Thanks so much as well to the Naples Board of Realtors and its Global Council. Current Chair, Isabella Wright, thank you so much. Thank you for thinking of me as the NAR representative for this activity. I personally, and my friends from Costa Rica here know it, I have a love story with this country from the very beginning, from the very first time that I visited. And I am sure that you all are going to feel the same way by the end of this conversation. And Naples and our friends are going to be to blame for that one. So thank you. I know very well that this has been something you guys at Naples have been working on for a very long time. So I really appreciate and value the time, effort, and hard work that you guys have put into this virtual activity, which I am sure it's going to be terrifically successful. And why not say it? I think it's definitely a great example of how an ambassador association in the US can collaborate with the country assigned to create more value-added content. So congratulations on that front as well to the Naples Global Council. To all my Costa Rican friends here, hola. Such a pleasure to be here with you. You are friends. So, you know, I cannot wait to see all you are going to share with us today. I'm sure it's going to make everybody fall in love with the paradise on earth that your country is. I was making a social media post this morning, and that was the word that I found because it really feels like paradise. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to get a lot of great information from our top-notch panelists today. So Costa Rica and NAR. As many of you probably know, NAR has over 100 international bilateral partners in over 75 different countries. But there's some countries where NAR has more than one partner, okay? Costa Rica is a great example of that. it's a great example also of how two institutions, two different associations can play and collaborate together, which is something that I really, really like because it makes my job in Costa Rica way easier as well. So who do we have in Costa Rica as our local experts and partners? So we have two outstanding organizations that you're gonna know much more about throughout this panel. Two associations that I would highlight really believe in the power of connections. That's very important. Believe, extremely important, in education, how to elevate the professionalism of their members. And they truly do believe in the global aspect of real estate. So it's a combination of three ingredients that can only translate into success. I'm gonna start with our older partner, I'm gonna say it this way, which is the Cámara de Corredores de Bienes Raíces de Costa Rica, which is today represented by our former Miss Costa Rica, as Brett said, Ofelia Ulloa, longtime friend, Ofelia, and Adrian Mora, the current president of the association. These two people are really, really taking this institution to the next level. So definitely pay a lot of attention to what they have to say, because they are the leaders of a hell of an institution that's full of realtors, of people that abide by the same code of ethics and believe in the same values that you do. So this is very, very important. Our relationship from NAR with the Cámara de Corredores is a very long-standing one. It started back in 2002, okay? Since then, I can say this institution has been absolutely vital in helping NAR, so helping the global team at NAR achieve its global goal of basically making the market of Costa Rica way more accessible for our realtors, for our members to do business, and also better help us understand the real estate market in the country. You're gonna be surprised by a lot of the things that Ofelia, Adrian, and Larry are gonna tell us. Please pay very close attention to their advice when it comes to doing business in Costa Rica, because there's a lot of opportunities there for you, and they have a lot of great tips that if you follow, I'm sure you can build your network and your business in Costa Rica big time. Our second bilateral partner here in the country is the Costa Rica Global Association of Realtors, which is, as Brett has introduced him before, by our friend Larry Graziano, member of the board of directors of the association. This is also a pretty mature partnership of NAR. It was signed in 2005, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been a while as well. And I'm gonna use this opportunity as well to wish our very good friend and president of the institution, Mr. Alan Lungo, a quick recovery from a health issue that he's facing, he's going through. Alan has been absolutely instrumental in strengthening the relationship of his association with NAR, and we're certainly missing him today. So best of the most speedy of recoveries for you, Alan. I know Larry is gonna give us a lot of great insights on Costa Rica and its relationship specifically with US expats. I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but I know that Larry's very good at that. He is based on the coast. It's a different profile of investor, is a different profile of real estate professional there than it is in San Jose. I think that's why this is gonna be a great panel, because we're gonna have very different, but at the same time, very complementary points of view. So keep close attention to what Larry is gonna tell us as well. It is thank you to institutions like the ones that we have here in Costa Rica, that Costa Rica, the country, and NAR, we have built a very, very, very good case study, not only locally, but I'm gonna say regionally speaking as well. We have a lot of different partnerships in the region. There's very few that have had the success that NAR has achieved in Costa Rica. And at the end of the day, it's always thanks to the people and thanks to whoever's behind fueling and trying to push these efforts. So you have a terrific panel of the absolute key people in in Costa Rica, at least from an institutional standpoint. And again, I cannot wait to see what they have to share with us today. Just a couple figures for you guys to understand a little better how the relationship of NAR is in Costa Rica. We currently do have 98 between these two organizations, between Costa Rica Global Association of Realtors and La Cámara. We have 98 international realtor members, some of which have designations like CIPS, SRS, ABR, and several other. Okay. Other than our local experts and leaders, it's absolutely key to mention some of the US-based volunteers that make this relationship possible. So I want to give a huge shout out. I haven't seen him. I don't know if Aldo or Carla are here, but hats off to them for all they do. Aldo Iema, based out of New York, is the NAR Global Ambassador to the country of Costa Rica. Without his help, we would definitely not be where we are today in terms of this smooth relationship among the two institutions. And also, Lady Central America, as some call her, Carla Raymond. She's the NAR Global Coordinator to Central America and the Caribbean. Again, they have played a absolute key role in the relationship that NAR has in Costa Rica today. Both are extremely engaged and involved. They also live in the US and practice real estate as realtors. So they would be great sources of information for many of you. So Carla, Aldo, if you are there, please make sure that you type your email addresses on the chat box, because I think that you guys could be great sources of information for many of our attendees here today. At this point, I can only wish you guys to enjoy the session. Please pay attention again to the advice that's going to be given by our local experts. Be ready to fall in love with these presentations, with the country, which, remember, 3 things I'm going to point out. Has a lot of extremely professional international realtor members, meaning folks who abide by the same code of ethics that you do here in the US. They do believe in the power of collaboration, absolutely key. Second reason, it's a country that has 2 very international and professional real estate institutions, like the ones that have been mentioned before. Not all countries can brag about that. Well, Costa Rica is a great example of, as I was saying, a country that is supported by 2 very, very professional and dedicated institutions. And finally, a country that's more than ready and happy to welcome your real estate business with a big smile. So that's it for me, Brad. Pura vida, pura vida. I hope by the end of this presentation you can all know how to pronounce pura vida, because these guys are pura vida, which Ofelia, Adrian, or Larry can explain it much better than me, but basically means happiness and the joy of life. So thanks again for the invitation. I'm going to stick around in case there's questions about NAR relationship with Costa Rica, but I really cannot wait to hear what they have to share. And thank you again to Naples Global Network for giving me the opportunity to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here. And the one thing you've left out when you're talking about these 2 fabulous boards is they are both award-winning boards. So we've had a lot of recognition when we go to the NAR meetings annual in DC, when we used to be able to show up. And we've had the honor of being with these 2 boards as they both received numerous awards. Without that now, I'd like to hand the microphone over to Ophelia, and we can get started with your presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Brett. I would like to thank the Naples Board of Realtors for such a wonderful opportunity to my good friends, Larry, Adrian, and Alex, and now Cheyenne and Isabel that are joining us. It really is for me an honor to talk about Costa Rica. It's my favorite topic, you know. And one of the things that I like to say before we go through the PowerPoint is that we have to get to know the country before we bring them into our land. And though this will be a fast presentation, I know most of them know about Costa Rica and where it is, but mostly what we want to bring out is the novel, the goodness of each part of our country. And like Alex mentioned, we have 2 associations. We also have an alliance between the 2 associations to work together. And this is something that we signed up last year and is working beautifully. So Segregar and CCBR, as we call them friendly, it's 2 associations that have known to get together and to collaborate with each other. We, the CCBR, la Cámara Costarricense de Corredores de Bienes Raíces, we are located in the metropolitan area, and Segregar is located in the Pacific coastal areas. And even though we complement each other, the markets behave quite differently. So anyway, so let me go ahead and we could just show Costa Rican, and I label it an investment opportunity in today's global market. And I will explain to you as we advance as to why we think so. You can go to the next. We have 7 provinces. And as you notice, San Jose, you know, right where it points out, this is where we are at right now. And Guanacaste, this is where Larry is at. So we have 7 provinces with different climates and different ways of lives. And that's what makes this small country in such a diversity climates that really can enjoy the mountain, the beach, or the rain, because this is a tropical, subtropical country that, and right now we're in the rainy season. However, our temperature is always ideal. We can go to the next. Right here, these are the microclimates all year round. You know, we have the beach, we have the mountain, we have all the tropical things. We have the volcanoes. This is a land of volcanoes, beautiful ones. And yeah, we have some tremors every once in a while. We are an ecological country. We are a world leader in preserving and contributing to the ecology of our planet. And it first in sustainable tourism. I would like to stop by here because Costa Rica, it is unique, really. Origin and strategic achievements throughout its history made it as a peaceful country and the oldest Latin American democracy. And they focus on the preservation of our land and sustainable policies. You know, one of the histories that we really are proud of, there are a series of cultural traits going back to this very beginning in the country. About 50 years, we were having a lot of deforestation. And since then, we recovered 53%, and now 26% of the country is national park system and 27 in private hands. And this private hands is quite amazing because it's got all the benefits to preserve the land in a sustainable way with a lot of benefits. Some of the benefits, really, and this is where we are trying to get Costa Rica known for most of them that do not know, the forest reserves is an excellent investment because you can invest in the easements, or as we call corredores biológicos, biological corridors. It's also, it could be a tax incentive. It has benefits in what we call PSA, which is payment for environmental services, nature tourism, reforestation, the development of houses within the forest areas, in conservation areas. You could also invest in pure conservation and related activities, such as the research in education, and also the capture of CO2, which is about 40 tons per hectare. And all these are incentives for people to come and invest in our country. Right now, with the pandemic, and I will touch it up a little farther with the PowerPoint, a lot of people around the world are trying to find out where to invest and why. So one of the main things that people have become aware of is not only about the health, which all of us have gone through with the pandemic, looking for a place that has a very good health universal system, which Costa Rica certainly has, and it has proven it through this pandemic, but also something else, being aware and conscientious of the environment. Costa Rica has it. So during this pandemic, I have felt sad for all the restrictions and all the things that is negative things that are happening because of it. But at the same time, very positive, because I know that our country will be able to offer a lot of things that people are looking for. So I will develop a little more as we go on, but I wanted to touch this with this ecological map right here. So we can go next. Well, here it shows all the parks. You know, it's just roughly 27% of Costa Rican's territory is constituted in national parks or reserves, including 2 parks declared the World Heritage Site by UNESCO. You know, Costa Rica was won the award by the United Nations Champions of the Earth last year. So we are leaders in the world in this. So it's no surprise to anyone that we will continue to be so by contributing to the environment and for people to invest to help us contribute with that. Next, please. Again, here, our goal is to be carbon neutral by 2023. Actually, we were going to be last year, but because of all this, this has not become #1 because of the pandemic took a lot of the budget to contribute to that. But we're heading for 2023 to be carbon neutral and recognized by the Costa Rican government. Next, please. This is one of the Reventazon plant, you know, for clean renewable energy. Costa Rica is investing an awful lot in renewable energy. So this is another investment that we are trying to get into Costa Rica because of 2 things. Not only because we want to be part of it, but also Costa Rica with the human resources calls that kind of investment into it. We have a lot of large transnationals that settle in Costa Rica because the education and the natural resource is very high. We have Intel, we have Amazon, we have a lot of well-known companies that settle in Costa Rica because of it. Next, please. Well, this is just to show you location, location, location. You know, this is our phrase for all of us. And Costa Rica, look at it. It's just beautifully located right in the middle of the south and north. We're a bridge. We really are a bridge. And because of our democracy and the way that we are not warriors. We are, we solve everything by talking, dialogue. So we're always a bridge for peace. We have been known, and we have a president that is the Nobel Peace winner, Senor Oscar Arias, who taught us a lot and to the world that we solve things by talking. So Costa Rica is known for that. We bridge people. We have been used to conciliate and to bring people together and not to divide. Next, please. We have 2 international airports. One is the San Juan, Santamaria International Airport to your right, and to the left is the Daniel Oduber International Airport. The latter one is the one that is now in the coastal areas of Guanacaste, which makes it very easy now to land directly in Guanacaste if you don't want to land in San Jose, or you can do it vice versa. So it's quite convenient for such a small country to have 2 international airports. Next, please. Like I said, Costa Rica is having the right conditions for investment. One thing that I like to mention is that Costa Rica spent an awful lot of money of its budget But right now it's been a little difficult because most of it has been spent on the coronavirus and trying to get everyone healthy. But our budget is always been quite considered for education. So when people come and invest, the human resource in Costa Rica is different. Education in Costa Rica is very important. And formal education is also very good in Costa Rica, but I can also say that a lot of people go to the United States for either courses after having the university studies in Costa Rica or to the university. I'm one example. I went to school in Boston, but I'm not an exception. This is something that most people do, and it's not that I could afford it. It was well, my dad is the one who did it for me. But if it would have not been the case, there's a lot of scholarships and alliances between universities in the States and Costa Rica that gives everyone the opportunity to have this formal education outside of Costa Rica. So because of it, the English language is not difficult to find in Costa Rica. And I'm an example. I mean, most of my business is done in English, and but it's common for most everyone who has a formal education in Costa Rica. Next, please. All right, this is the most stable democracy in Latin America. I'm very proud to say that because we really are not a warrior country. We really don't know what that's like. We haven't suffered that way. Sometimes we take it for granted, and but it's because of that. In 1948, they knocked down all the arms, and now we just have schools instead of a policeman, you know. So next, please. Well, right here, what I was saying, Costa Rica has no army since 1948. Our past president, Jose Figueres Ferrer, is the one who abolished it during that year. And ever since, our weapon is to dialogue, is to talk. Next, please. This is the currency. The currency in Costa Rica is el colón. And now it's fluctuating a little bit. It's about 550 and 60 colones per $1, but it can go up and down. But, you know, in spite of the pandemic, it's been quite stable. And I think our central bank has been doing a very good job in keeping the balance and the rate as it is. Next, please. Okay, right here, literacy, you know, in Costa Rica is 96.3%, one of the highest in Latin America. We're really proud of it. You know, when you go to all these little places in Costa Rica, and I'm in love with the rural areas of Costa Rica, you see a school. You see the square where everyone plays soccer. And of course, that's #1 sport in Costa Rica. And you see the church, and then you see the school. And that's nice, because then you have, everyone expects it, no matter where you go. That's what you're gonna find. So that's why to find a Costa Rican who doesn't know how to write or read is very unusual. Next, please. Well, again, the education. I think we do have very good state universities, but also private universities. La Universidad de Costa Rica is called UCR, is truly excellent. People who graduate from there, you know they're going to come out with a very good education. Like Universidad of Earth is also, you have students from all over the world, and this is about conserving the earth, and it's fantastic to see how many countries are represented there. And there's a lot of private universities as well. Next, please. Again, the hospitals. Here I'm mentioning two that are private, which is Cima Hospital, which is in the west side of San Jose, and Clínica Bíblica, which is more towards the east. Both of them are excellent private hospitals, but also the state hospitals of Costa Rica are very, very good. And they have proven with this pandemic how well they've done. They have been very well prepared. Our Minister of Health has done a tremendous job of keeping the pandemic under control. We are a bit upset about not being able to transport ourselves as freely as we would like, but we understand that they're really looking out for our health first. But health, universal health in Costa Rica is also available to foreigners, which I think is important for them to know. And because of it also, Costa Rica has become a medical tourism center. You know, there's because of the doctors are very well educated here, especially in the plastic surgery type thing. We have a lot of foreigners that come to Costa Rica to do that. It's less expensive, and also they get to recuperate in a paradise. So it is something that is quite developing as a medical tourism, and is advancing in a very good way. Next, please. This is something that I like to put in there because a lot of people do not know, but do you know that Costa Rica is the one that has most restrictive regulations in the world as far as smoking is concerned? In public places, you're not allowed to smoke. So as I was growing up, I was a smoker, you know, it was glamorous at the time, many, many moons ago. But now that it's not glamorous because we all know the effects of that, it's really nice to see that the health of the country has been considered at this point. So to smoke now is something that we sort of frown at now. Next, please. Well, this is what I really love about Costa Rica. They always ask me, you know, what do you love the most about Costa Rica? My people. I find that the human resources in Costa Rica is the biggest asset that we have. You have, you know, you find everything in here. The education is everywhere. Of course, I can see that I have the picture of soccer. Soccer is in our veins. You know, we live it, we fight it. You know, and we had one soccer goalie that is quite famous. You know, and I'm sure Alex likes for me to mention it. You know, Navas. It's been a fantastic point of reference of football in Costa Rica that's now all over the world. And also we have the culture, you know, you go to a concert, we have a beautiful national theater when you can go and have a beautiful structure around you with fantastic musicians and very well prepared musicians, not only within Costa Rica, but outside. And all kinds of professions, you know. We have INA, which is a government entity that prepares what Costa Rica needs. So we have all of it. And at the bottom, we have the coffee collectors. Of course, Costa Rica is a coffee producer. So we have the agricultural, the intellectual, the sciences, and the recreation. So it's a place that offers you, in such a small place, everything that you're looking for to get entertained. Next, please. Next, okay. Well, this is the phrase that my dear friend Alejandro used, pura vida. That literally means pure life. But you know, perhaps to make an analogy, it's like in the Jewish language, you say Shabbat Shalom, you know, Shabbat, you know, Shalom, or Shalom, actually. Then it's for a lot of things. It's hello, how are you? Pure life is that for us. We say it as to say hello, when we say goodbye, just to end up a phrase. It's just that Costa Ricans are happy people. But right now we're going through a pandemic period that has made us sad for a lot of reasons, but we are happy. And the expression of pure life is a pure representation of what all of us are. So this is something that I love it when people say pura vida, because it comes from the soul. It comes from within out. Next, please. Okay. The investments opportunities, there really are quite a few. You have the developments, the commercial, the residential, the land, and the free zones. Costa Rica offers all that. We have a lot of land. We have a lot of people who are landowners and who preserve, like I mentioned before, the land and the environment and so forth. And now they need the investments to come and develop all the environmental things that we like to do. And then we have the developments that are within the metropolitan area, really nice, either east or west of San Jose. You're going to find them, and you're going to find them all over the country. And I'm sure Larry will mention what is going to happen in the coastal areas. Residential is beautiful, either west or east. I happen to live in the west. I happen to like the west because it's warmer, it's more laid back. The east is a little cooler, but just as nice, a little different as far as climate is concerned. Because of those microclimates, Costa Rica, I could be at home right now, where I am right now, and 10 minutes, with a great sun, and 10 minutes is raining, or vice versa. So we have all these microclimates that makes Costa Rica so different. Then the free zones. The free zones are industrial parks that we have a lot of good incentives for, especially for large companies to come and invest. They have incentives with taxes, and that is something that has been working in Costa Rica quite well. Next, please. This is one of the developments in the South Pacific area, which is also a beautiful area. We have the South Pacific in the Pacific Ocean, and also the central where Larry is at. All that area is fantastic. You know, the beach here is different in the Pacific as it is in the Caribbean. The Pacific is sand, beautiful sand. In the Caribbean, it's rocky. It's different. It's more plush, more humid. The coastal areas in the Pacific is more in the North Pacific area is more dry. It's quite beautiful. It's hot, but it's a different kind of heat because it's dry. Next, please. This is some developments that are very good in San Jose. This is development close to the Cima Hospital, which is beautiful, which is with commercial restaurants, also the residentials, and it's a high-end kind of condominium, beautifully done, and it's one that a lot of people enjoy, not only to visit and invest, but to go and shop also. The one next to it is Forum, I think it is. I'm not sure. So, but anyway, it's a huge condominium for offices that is also on the west side of San Jose. Next, please. All right, these are high residential condominiums. To the left, you have this Paseo Colón Twin Towers. At the moment, they're the highest in Costa Rica. And you're going to find even though we're a seismic country, the structural engineers of Costa Rica are some of the best in the world. And they have proven with all the buildings, especially the new ones that have the new code, which Costa Rica, since being seismic, you have to be very safe because they've done a very good job with all the new codes and buildings since we had this measures in order to cope with it. Next, please. All right, this is one is called Hacienda del Sol. As a matter of fact, I was sales director for that project. It really is beautiful, and the one at the bottom is also Cerro Alto, both of them high-end on the west side of Costa Rica, beautifully. Homes, they go from 600 to 2 million, and the ones at the bottom even higher. They go from 400 to 2-3 million also. Very nice and beautiful areas with surrounded by mountains. It's very pretty. Next, please. These are just random pictures of exclusive homes. You can have the very modern, as you see it to the right, and as you can have the traditional to the left. We also have a very good school of architects and engineers in Costa Rica that really they excel on the innovation on how to build your custom homes. They're very strict with their rules. As a matter of fact, with stamping any construction in Costa Rica has to go through them, through the Colegio de Arquitectos and Engineers, is the College of Engineers and Architects, and all those has to be with the stamp, otherwise it doesn't go ahead. So we have an assurance of quality of our building. Our buildings is quite different than it is in the States. We use concrete. You know, it's quite different. So our properties last forever because they are concrete all over. My house is concrete all over. I have it's an older house, but it's made out of concrete, all of it. I don't have gypsum of any kind whatsoever. Some constructions do, but the building codes are different because of it. Next, please. Land in Costa Rica, I'm in love with the land in Costa Rica. You know, you have the mountains, you have the valleys, you have the volcanoes around you, the nature, you know. One of the things that has kept me sane in Costa Rica is going to my backyard when I can hear the leaves against each other, the sound of the breeze of the wind, the birds, the butterflies. We have that. Costa Rica, we take it for granted. You know, I have the parakeets waking me up every morning. And that, now I'm thanking God every day for that. But before, quite frankly, I took it for granted. I mean, I get up, okay, one more parakeet. That's the birds every place. We have that beautiful sound that sunsets in Costa Rica are unbelievable. So land, it's something that even though we're such a small country, we still have a lot of it that we protect. Next, please. Okay, this is the free zone. These are industrial parks. Like I mentioned before, it's a lot of very good incentives for big companies or small companies. Most of them do rentals, though there are some of them that they buy into it, but that's the exception. You know, here the industrial park is built by a developer and they rent it out to transnationals or to whoever is interested in the industrial parks. Next, please. Okay. Signing on the papers is always done through a public notary. Nothing in Costa Rica, as far as closing is concerned, a property cannot be done without a lawyer. So that's very important. And it cannot be done with that, because that's important when someone comes in here and tries to buy a property. It's important they know what the steps are and who to do it with. And I think that's one of the reasons that we realtors, international realtors can really help when we have the referrals or the or someone who lives, the nationals, and they want to know how to do it. I used to deal an awful lot with relocation. So they bring the family and we have to find not only the home, but we have to find the school and the hospitals and a lot of specifications that are really nice. And to know step by step is always nice, and we have people who can help on that. Next, please. All right, this is important, very important. All properties in Costa Rica should be registered at the Registro Nacional. We know it simply as the Registro. Every property in Costa Rica has to be registered there. If it isn't, don't even look at it. And even they have a lot of services. One good service is for foreigners who buy and they are not here. They have a service of keeping track of any transaction or inquiry into your property. You pay a small fee. I can't remember right now what it is because I did it a while ago. And they send you statements as to your movements of your property. So for foreigners who buy in Costa Rica and they don't live here, that this is a good service to have. Then you know if something that is not according to your authorization, then you will know immediately. So it's very important that your property is registered in the registry. If it isn't, don't even look at it. Next, please. Okay, the taxes have been changing. We had a tax package last September that affected us all. We really didn't like it, but we needed to have a change in the tax structure. And now there's been a lot of dispensation because of the virus. So closing, I will say, it could go through 3 to 4% of the total sales of the property. And this is how it is, more or less. But now they've been quite lenient, you know, on people, especially people who are renting, who has lost their jobs or their salaries have been cut in half. So there's been a lot of dispensations, and the private enterprise has stood up and asked the governments for leniencies on this sort of thing and to open up the market and the economy a bit more than it is right now. Next, please. Well, like Alex mentioned, you know, we are 2 real estate associations, and both are not NAR bilateral partners. One is Costa Rica Global Association of Realtors, where my very good friend Alan Lungo is president. By the way, we're missing you, Alan, and I hope everything is fine with you. And of course, our Cámara Costarricense de Corredores de Bienes Raíces. Both of them, we have an alliance. Like I said, we are both in different territories, but we get along beautifully and we collaborate, and they do business with us and we do business with them. And as part of CIPS, I'm sure Larry will mention it, they do it every year. They've been amazing with the CIPS yearly. And we really take our hats to them for that good job they always have done. And both of them belong to CILA. All the associations in Latin America belong to CILA. I am president-elect of CILA 2021, and I'm happy to say that it's been a very good partnership with NAR. You know, we just had the ABR and the SRS, which NAR en Español, which is an initiative of Alejandro Escudero, that offered to us at a very good price. So the teaching, the education has become to us virtually in a very affordable way. We look what happened. You know, we had the course, we had the association fees with NAR, plus the designation. That was an opportunity that we could not let go, and that is thanks to NAR, that through Alejandro we were able to receive that benefit. Next, please. Referrals. You know, I think when we're in the business of real estate, what do? We just want to do business with you, and you want to do business with us. So that is what we call referrals. And to find this great real estate opportunity, it is always necessary and wise to cooperate with local accredited real estate brokers and agents in Costa Rica who are citizens or residents, permanent residents in Costa Rica. I didn't add permanent, but actually that is the law. You cannot work in Costa Rica unless you're a permanent resident in Costa Rica. So that's important. But it's not only that. I think we all can agree and make sense that it makes sense to refer it. If I'm going to refer you to someone in Naples, obviously I will refer it to someone that I think it will do the good job that I expect him or expect her to do, because they know the property, they know the area, and that's the way it should be. Besides, I am not allowed to practice real estate in the United States unless I have a license there. Well, even though Costa Rica doesn't have a law that protects us that way. We do have a direction from the government what we are supposed to be as far as realtors. However, and this is something that perhaps Adrian could talk about when it comes his turn, we have presented a law project to Congress in Costa Rica to define really the role of the realtors and to have that regulation that will back us up. Because right now, even though we have all those federal laws in Costa Rica that tells us what we cannot do or can do, we also need to have that backing from the government as realtors. And this is something that our association has been working very hard on that. And I think we're achieving the positive steps towards that. And I'm sure Adrian will talk about it. And next, please. All right, so this is something when people are trying to consider and coming to Costa Rica. There's a lot of ways to come to Costa Rica. It's not only by air. You can come by boat. You can ride. You know, it's nice. And the cruises also stop in Costa Rica. So there's that's an option that a lot of people do not consider. But let me tell you, it's quite nice. And you get to see the whole area, and it's always beautiful because Costa Rica has that plushness that is with us all year round. We only have 2 seasons, the rainy and the dry season. But the temperature is usually the same all year round, except in the coastal areas that is hotter, but the same just about all year round. It rains or it does not. Next, please. Well, you know, a lot of people worry about transportation here in Costa Rica. The rental cars here is everywhere. So, or sometimes that's not even necessary because at the destination that you go, you can find the hotel or the resort that will have the transportation for you too. So this is always an option, but what I wanted to say with the rental cars that of course is always available. Next, please. And this is the last of the PowerPoints. This is before you leave home, you know, don't forget to bring the sunglasses and suntan. And it's true. A lot of people forget. Costa Rica, it's sunny. Even in the rainy season, you know, it's funny because when it rains, usually mornings are beautiful. And at 1 o'clock, the rain comes. And it's amazing. Why? I have no idea. But so what you need is an umbrella and your suntan because the sun is strong, especially at the beach, but even in the mountain, it is. And we have a lot of options. You know, we have the investments in the mountains right now in the east side of San Jose and also in some of the provinces. The resorts in the mountains are beautiful. There are those people who don't care that much for sand and they care for mountains. Well, we have them both. You can actually see in one point in Costa Rica, you can see the Atlantic and the Pacific in one point. And that's beautiful, which means you can really go in one day, you can be in the mountain and at the beach at the same time. So the only thing that this is the end of the PowerPoint, but I just wanted to touch a little bit as to why Costa Rica is good for investment in after the coronavirus. But perhaps, Brett, I think it will be nice if Larry will continue, and then later on we can talk about the effects of Costa Rica, but after the coronavirus. Would that be okay, Brett?
Yeah, what we want to do is let's have Larry and then Adrian talk, and then we'll go through. We've actually got some questions coming in, and we've got some other things that we want to make sure we'll cover too. So that'd be good. But thank you, Ophelia. It was great.
Okay.
I really appreciate it, and appreciate all the time and effort you guys have all put into this. You know, and again, prayers and thoughts with Alan and the family. I think we all agree with that too. So, Larry, the floor is yours, sir.
Well, great, thank you. I'm Larry Graziano. I live in a small town called Playa Negra, south of Tamarindo, here in Guanacaste, which is in the northwest of the country. Believe it or not, it's a beach town with only about 90 people, if you can imagine that. It's a place where you could still come and barely see people on the beach, which is absolutely unbelievable, considering we're about an hour away from an international airport. I'm gonna go ahead and organize the share my screen here. If you just bear with me for a moment. I have a wonderful presentation, maybe not quite as wonderful as Ophelia's. Street view. There we go. Is that showing up for you guys?
No.
Okay, well that didn't work. I should have sent it out. Here we go, speaker, okay, screen share. Da, da, da.
There we go.
Okay. We got a ton of stuff going on here.
There you go.
Okay, full screen mode. All right, Costa Rica, expat dreams made real. You know, one of the biggest questions I get is, why do you love Costa Rica so much? I can tell you my family and I are a family that takes wonderful vacations around the world. And my answer to that question is there's no better place in the world to come home after the greatest vacation you ever had. In fact, I'm one of those people that's a bit ridiculous. I'm lamenting on the way out to a wonderful vacation and ecstatic that I'm coming home at the end of it. It's really a wonderful place to visit. Ophelia touched on a ton of these items. This gives you a basic idea of where we're located, the GDP of the country, in terms of the size, 19,000 square miles, folks, from Florida. That's basically the area from the Keys up to Orlando. And if you can imagine, 13 climate zones. The Caribbean slope with the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific slope with the Pacific Ocean, a central mountain range that extends up from South America and almost reaches into the Rockies. It's so varied and unbelievable, and that's why this is one of the most biodiverse places on the planet. The local people here do pretty well earning money because our climate is subtropical, as Ophelia mentioned. It's funny, people don't have the emergent needs that they have in other places because we're basically in a summer scenario all year long. You'd be amazed. You're driving down the road and there's a mango tree and you can eat mangoes, or there's bananas hanging over, or jocote, or a plethora of other fruits, which really aids people to being relaxed. The same thing, you know, where I am at the beach, we have a group of families and friends that go down to the beach every morning and afternoon, catch fish. And so, you know, their emergent needs aren't the same as those in the first world. And I think that's one of the things that really turns on people about Costa Rica. It's a humble, wonderful life. Here on this slide, we see some of the areas that Ophelia mentioned. We have in the top, the Liberia area, which is where the international airport is for Guanacaste. In the center, San Jose.
Larry, excuse me. We only have one picture. You're not showing your PowerPoint.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a terrible situation.
Larry, is there a button at the bottom of your screen that says resume share by chance?
Yeah, there we go. I pressed it.
Could you go to the next slide just to see if we're seeing something? the same. Yeah. It doesn't seem to be working.
Okay. Just give me a moment here. I'm a neophyte with Zoom. You'll have to forgive me. Let me stop it and reshare it.
So we've got
There you
a.
go.
We got a different one now.
Okay, great. I'm going to go back. This is where the slide stopped previously. This gives us a basic overview of the areas in between Nicaragua and Panama throughout Costa Rica. You'll see at the top far left, Tamarindo, that's the area where I am currently, which is near the Liberia International Airport, which really created a huge boost in investment for this area. In the center of the country, we have San Jose, and you can see that there's a large mountain chain that goes from the northwest all the way down to the bottom of the country into Panama. Where the words Panama are written, that area, the Gulf of Dulce, Drake Bay, Matapalo, Puerto Jimenez, that's one of the most biodiverse areas on the entire planet. And that's where one of our first national parks is located, on the Osa Peninsula. As Ophelia mentioned, the country is protected. We have tons of renewable energy. In fact, you may have seen last year we were 97 or 98% renewable energy, which our slide is old here. Ophelia, 100% correct by 2023. We're hoping to be the first carbon neutral country on the planet, which will be absolutely amazing. They don't allow any type of hunting outside of the indigenous populations. And they've gotten rid of the zoos here. You don't need them. There's so much wildlife. You just walk out of your house and you'll see it. I mentioned we really have just dry and wet seasons here. Overall, throughout the entire country. I like to refer them as mud and dust, to be honest. Here in Guanacaste, where we're located, you'll find it hard to believe, but it's a tropical dry forest, and it's a deciduous forest. So just like in North America and northern climates, a lot of the trees, not all of them, lose their leaves in the dry season, because from November to May, just when it's coinciding with your winter time, we are in our hottest and driest period. There's usually no rain during those 6 months. And that's one of the key drivers for investment in this area. If you're booking your trip from Calgary in July to escape winter in February, you're guaranteed perfect weather when you arrive. And we don't have tornadoes. There's never been a landfall of a hurricane in the history of reporting. And it's subtropical here. This photo here is a photo of the Tamarindo area. It's one of our primary markets. It's probably the one of the most touristic areas on the entire Pacific coast here. Really quickly, you can read nearly 200 years of democracy. Everyone here has equal rights. Most every single person is literate and educated. Most children these days in all the schools are becoming bilingual. Fully peaceful country, no soldiers, no wars, revolutions, and gun ownership is very difficult here, especially for foreigners. There's the famous soccer photo. Costa Rica are happy people. It's amazing, and you feel it when you see it the first time. It's a place where they don't walk with blinders on. You can walk down the beach or in the street. People make eye contact with you. They're not afraid to have that connection. Doesn't matter if they know you or not. They'll say hello, and you can do the same. And And there's really something special about that. That's not something that you'll find just anywhere on the planet. And that's one of the keys to Pura Vida that everyone was speaking about earlier. The country is voted the happiest place on the earth by various medium 3 or 4 years straight. Where I am is a blue zone. It's one of the 5 on the planet. And a blue zone is a place where people have an outstanding amount of people in the population that live well beyond 100 years. And that's due to the type of living, having a stable environment, good clean living, working, naps, great health care, etc. We have a wonderful medical tourism here. The doctors are some of the best on the planet, and it's much cheaper. So you find that, you know, somebody wants to come here for a nose job and they find that it's cheaper to do it here, have their vacation, than what it would have cost in the United States overall for the entire procedure. We have surfing among many, many other activities. I surf, and I can tell you that around the world, it's hard to find a place like Costa Rica that offers as much surf as it does. We are, our busy seasons are much like that as Florida. I'm from Florida as well. I can remember the snowbirds getting ready, coming down in full force in October, staying through March, April. And we have a very similar environment with our expats who have bought here. They usually come in a little later. They'll start in late November, early December, probably leave in March when the winter is ending. That happens to coincide in this sector with the dry season. However, the majority of the country is also experiencing a dry season to some extent, but not quite as long as this area. There are myriad activities here. There are some of them here. If you're into river rafting, we have 5-star rapids, hanging bridges through the tops of the jungles, wildlife tours. You know, this is one of the best birding countries on the planet. 1,000 species identified, which incidentally is like 10% of all the species on the planet. We have hot springs at the bases of the volcanoes. We have all kinds of zip lines, canopy tours, you might know them as. At the bottoms of these volcanoes, most of them have hot mud springs, and you do mud baths, and your skin feels like a brand new little baby when you're done. Here at CRGAR, we have a history of doing the CIPS Institute, almost 10 years. This is our flyer of the CIPS we were supposed to do with last week. Unfortunately, COVID killed that. Last year was a wonderful CIPS Institute. And I think, and maybe Alex can confirm, that we probably graduated more people than any other institute around the planet thus far. I think we're up to nearly 500 students that we've graduated to CIPS status. We have the 2 airports, one where Ophelia is and the one where we are. And between those 2 connections, you can get anywhere on the planet very easy. Tons of flights coming in from Europe directly to San Jose. Tons of flights coming into both Liberia and San Jose. And Liberia is just getting their first flight that's coming in from Europe directly this coming season. Ophelia mentioned that you have to be a permanent resident to work here. What we organize as chambers is affiliate memberships to outside realtors. It's so that you become a referral member, and we organize all the taxes that you're supposed to pay when the commission is collected. So you only have to receive your final balance at the end, making it really easy. This specifically here is a photo of a balcony in Tamarindo. how can you stay here? And when you come from a foreign country, specifically the United States, you don't need you get an automatic visa. You can stay for 90 days. Many people just cross the border on foot into Nicaragua, come back, sometimes on the same day, and then they get another 90 days to stay again. Applying for residency for you and your clients is really easy. You have to put some paperwork together, criminal history. You buy a property for $200,000 and you can get a investor status. You can do the same thing if you have a proven pension or income. You invest in a business, you know, an anchor baby, or you get married to a Costa Rican, among a couple of others. But overall, it's a really easy system. Once your application is in, usually 1 year to 18 months, and you become an official resident of the country, which gives you all the rights as a national, except the right to vote, essentially. Ophelia touched on this, and I mentioned it. You need to be a permanent resident to work here. As chamber members, we implore that anybody who wants to take listings in Costa Rica, find a person like Ophelia or Adrian, myself, or somebody from one of the two chambers who's affiliated with NAR to have an on-the-ground partner in the exclusive listing so that we can organize everything for your clients and make life a lot easier for you. This gives a basic overview of how you can work here in the country, legal statuses, and the taxes that are paid into the CAJA, which is the Costa Rica pension system and medical system. It's very much a system for medical and health like Canada has. You know, I've seen a lot of blogs all over, and everybody says, oh, for $1,000 a month, you can live in Costa Rica. Honestly, I think that's way far off. Even we have $2,000 a month here. I think that if you're a person who's going to be in Costa Rica, you're going to have nice cars, you're going to have a vacation fund. It's really likely $2,000 to $2,500 per person per month, not including children. So for a couple to live really well here, you're looking at $4,000 to $5,000 a month. Because we're in the center of the planet, you know, we basically only have 12 hours of sunlight a day. It varies more or less by an hour, but 5 a.m. the sun's coming up. 5 to 6 p.m. the sun is going down. Out here on the coast, other than outside of Tamarindo, for example, the hotbed of tourism where the discos and the bars and mini golf and restaurants are, people adopt to that schedule amazingly. Everyone tries to take advantage of the daylight hours, and most everybody by 8 or 9 o'clock at night are in bed for the day. Foreign products, because of imports, are pretty pricey here. Local products are where to go, how to save money by living here. Gas prices, since I've been here almost 20 years now, has really always been around $4.50 to $5 a gallon, which probably shocks a lot of you, especially in $1.75 a gallon markets. Internet speed is building up here on the coast. When I first moved here, there was only one phone for 600 people in a guy's house. Now, fast forward 20 years, we have fiber optic internet speeds in some developments up to 300 megabyte. It's probably cost prohibitive unless you're editing movie footage or developing photos, that kind of stuff. But 10 to 20, we find in my household, is enough to support a couple of kids watching Netflix and YouTube and doing your business and getting things done. We have an annual inspection and registration process here on the cars and a tax on that car. Banking is like you're accustomed into the first world, but much slower. no hormones in the cows and antibiotics and stuff like that. There are some chemicals, but not on the Monsanto level that you would find in big farms across first world nations. It's a safe country. You know, out here on the coast, there's rarely a murder. There's rarely about violent crime. There's rarely a rape. There's no muggings in the street at gunpoint with guns and that kind of stuff. It's truly pura vida, relaxed. It's quality of life at its best. As Ophelia said, a good portion of her business is in cash. In colones, a good portion in dollars. Out here on the coast, almost every property is in dollars. Most of our transactions are done with foreigners, whereas in the Central Valley, it's the opposite, probably 20-80 there and 80-20 here. You would be amazed at how easy it is once the negotiations are finished. You know, my quickest turnaround time is 12 days, which is unbelievable, from contract signing to closing. For two motivated and prepared clients, the average time is 30 days, 40 days to get the due diligence done and make the transfer of the property in the public registry. It's really quite easy. Most places, there's tons of great professionals. There's always a few bad apples, and by working with a member of one of the chambers, you'll always be directed right to a seasoned professional that works in the way that you're accustomed to working in the first world bidder. Out here, it's really difficult, almost impossible as a foreigner to get a loan here in Costa Rica. And there is one company now out of the United States, a private lender, that's offering fixed rates, as you see in the new alternative there. Beyond that, Costa Rica banks usually are 10 to 12%, which makes it cost prohibitive for most buyers. We're looking to find a beach home that they're going to rent out to be able to cover carrying costs. And we find that the basic ROI on a beach condo in Tamarindo is about 5 to 7%. So you'll find that overall, we implore any client who needs to get any financing to do it via taking a loan against an IRA, a pension fund, an annuity, for example, or to take an equity loan against a property to buy here as well. I have to just move something here. And we can get into that more on individual Q&A basis. All of us as professionals have standard mails explaining the entire loan process and how to come here with cash. Costa Rica.
I'm
sorry. We're running on about 5 minutes left, and I still need to get Adrian in here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Bueno, why don't I stop my share and let's get Adrian in here, and then we can go to the Q&A. I'll provide this PDF PowerPoint presentation, and anybody who wants it, we could get it out to them easily.
Yeah, and Cheyenne, if we don't have an issue, can we run a little over?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to, his screen sharing wasn't working again, so I wanted to make sure that we got that going properly.
Yeah. Okay, so Adrian, I would love to hear from you about what's going on, say, right now with CCC BR, and how are things going for you guys?
Just before start to talk about the CCCBR, I just want to talk a few more words, if you allow me, of Costa Rica, of course.
Absolutely.
3-minute history lesson of Costa Rica. First of all, yeah, because if someone come to this beautiful country, at least you have to know basic tips of history. Costa Rica was discovered in 1502 by Christopher Columbus in his fourth trip to the Americas. And he baptized Costa Rica, putting the name of the country. And the reason is because when he came to Limon, Port Limon is on the Atlantic coast, when the local Indians came to receive him, they came with a lot of gold. So Columbus thought that he was coming to a rich coast. So in the documents, they put our country, oh, this is a very rich coast. In the end, there wasn't gold. But the most positive thing about it is that we have one of the most beautiful biology and rainforest in the world. So we are a rich country. And people love that. Okay? And Costa Rica became independent from Spain on September 15th, 1821. So next year, we are becoming 200 years of independence. And we expect that it's going to be a big celebration. We hope, if COVID allows us to make it. And this is a very big celebration. The people is very nationalist. They love the country. They love to receive foreigners. We are very American friendly, by the way. And the reason of that the Costa Ricans or Ticos speak very well English, and this is another history lessons, it's because in Costa Rica, there's no non-army since December 1st, 1948, when Costa Rica decided not to have any more army in the country. So the money that the government used to buy guns and tanks and planes and whatever, the government decided to use in two basic aspects. First, the education, universities. Here in Costa Rica, there are 4 public universities and a lot of schools and high schools. And the government pays for the education of the people. And many of the people in Costa Rica know how to speak English because back in the 80s, the government started to invest in educate English teachers to learn and to in high schools to show to the students how to learn it, how to speak English, because our governments start to become more interested in taking a piece of the big tourism of the zone in South America. And also, we specialize on technology since around 30 years ago. The big goal we have is in 1996, Intel came to Costa Rica and make the biggest modern computer plants in South America or in Latin America. So that means a lot of the education that Costa Rican people have here. The other big investment that the governments of Costa Rica in the past 60 years, or almost 70 years, excuse me, was that we invest in Social Security. So with this, we have universal healthcare system. That means that national and non-national can come to Costa Rica for medic aid. And also, the doctors that Costa Rican universities form or made are very great quality of surgeons, medicals, that when, as Ophelia says a few moments ago, many Americans come to Costa Rica and stay like a month because they come to see beaches, to see rainforest, but also to do medical treatment. And here it costs like almost 40% less or 50% less than in the United States. It depends on the type of surgery or medical work, if it's teeth or whatever. But we have a lot of benefits economically on healthcare. So this is very important that people in the United States should know that it's not only to come here to take a picture with a monkey, to see a nice beach, to see a nice volcano. No, we have a lot of more things in the package. And this is very important that people know. So basically, Brett, that was just a few tips, and now I can talk about the CCBR if you allow me, okay?
Please.
Okay, thank you. CCBR means Costa Rica Real Estate Brokers Chamber of Realtors. It was founded in 1974, so we are 4 years for our 50th anniversary. We're very happy that we almost half century doing the best that we love, and that is teaching group of people that are very interested in to learn how to sell real estate, how to treat clients, because before 1974, nobody known a few things about real estate. And we were founded in San Jose, in the capital, and right now we are more than 500 members that we use a code of ethics. And with our partner, NAR, thank you, Alejandro, for being here. We make a lot of things very, very, very good, like educational certifications and designations that NAR came to us to help us to educate even more and to how to teach to work for American clients, which is great. And I am as president of the Costa Rican Chamber, is very happy to have this alliance with NAR. And basically, we're working right now, as Ophelia also said a few moments ago, for making a legal bill to become a law in Costa Rica. We expect in the next couple of years that have the definition of the real estate agent. Because as Ophelia says, here in Costa Rica, there's no legal law that defines the working process or even the figure of a real estate agent. And if we want to become professionals, become better consultants, agents, whatever, we need that law passed, and our congressmen work on that so we can protect our clients and even protect another real estate broker agents. It is an honor, Brett, that the Costa Rica Real Estate Association are your partners in Naples. And also, we were happy to receive your delegation last year, and we hope you enjoy your stay here. And it has been a pleasure, and always you will have a second home, feel at home here. We love you to take care of you guys when you come here, and enjoy your time in your next trip to Costa Rica. Think about us in the first for the first option. Thank you very much, and it is a pleasure for being here as in your for this invitation. Thank you, Brett.
Well, thank you, Adrian. I'll tell you, you guys were more than hospitable when we were there. I don't think I vacationed all over the world. I've done a lot of things. This is a little bit of work, but really a lot of fun. And I don't think I've ever enjoyed as much of the trip as I did last year. You guys just absolutely made it phenomenal. Going to the volcano behind me there and going to the butterfly garden, getting to go to the stadium. Ophelia, you were just phenomenal being able to take us through the developments and everything. It was really great. And the year before, we got to spend the time with Larry and those guys, and so it was a lot of fun. We're really kind of pushing the clock here, but if anybody wants to, stay where, as long as our staff is okay, Cheyenne, as long as you're good, I'm fine. We had some kind of prepared questions that we want to go through, there's a couple things that have come up that I've seen on the Q&A that kind of tie into a lot of the stuff I think you guys have talked about already. We'll try to get to some of those. But I definitely wanted to get back to some of this. One of the things you've all brought up, all three of you, was the lifestyle in Costa Rica and why somebody would want to come by there. I know we've covered a lot of things, the parks and the people, which to me, it's the people. The people in their heart is really what makes Costa Rica what it is. Pura vida. I mean, that's it. Is there anything that we're not thinking about or what we haven't covered as far as that selling that lifestyle component? Anybody?
Excuse me, just a minute. I just want to say that it depends of the Costa Rica the client want to live. There's two types of lifestyles in Costa Rica: the beach style and the city style, which is very close also from a rainforest. But the most beautiful part of this history is that you can do both in less than 1-2 hours from the capital. But if the person decides to live in the beach, we have a lot of things that can be a very good lifestyle in the city or in the beach. The client just have to choose which place it wants to live. That was only my small comment. So please, Ophelia, continue.
Well, I think with the pandemic, most of us have learned two things. That people want to live or choose a lifestyle. So we're going to be selling lifestyles. It's no longer properties. So I happen to think that what are they looking for? A place in the world where the health system is excellent and capable of solving health issues on emergencies. That's number one for all of us now, the health issue. Costa Rica has it. It's been proven it. And also, since we are really working at home, a lot of us are telemarketing, so we're now choosing where we want to live as opposed to work. So that's another difference now. Costa Rica has all those beautiful places, beach, mountain, valleys, whatever you want to choose from. And a place to work out of. So it's important now, to me, it's been important in the last 4 months to have some fresh air, some nice yard, as opposed to very small place, because now I work out of the house. So I need a place where I can have more space. And the technology, Costa Rica has a tremendous, every single child in Costa Rica has this tablet. Now all the virtual teaching is done that way in private and public schools. So that is available every place. You know, we have fiber optics, most every place. So we are really up to it. And a place where social consciousness is, and a place where they respect the environment and is part of the agenda of the country. And that we are. So I think that Costa Rica is betting on a lot of investments that people are waiting to see which place to go to. And I think Costa Rica has a good opportunity of that type of investment. And like all of us said and agree with, the people. Costa Rica, the biggest asset of this country is the people. They are friendly. They look at, like Larry says, they look up right on your eyes, always willing to help, and very foreign friendly. A couple of things that I did wanted to mention is that foreigners have the same rights as the Costa Ricans as far as the constitution of our country, except the vote. You don't even have to live in the country. If you come in here and you invest on a company or something and you don't live here, you have all the rights, but you don't have the right to vote. That's the only one. And also on referrals that I did not mention is, I think it's important because a lot of people do not know when they get the commission back to the states from what they think they make, there's also a 15% withholding tax of the commission earned by the referee. In other words, if somebody refers me, if Brett refers me a client and he makes a commission out of my commission, so I have to hold 50% of that tax because I am the one responsible to giving it back to our treasury, and he gets it a net commission. And that's the two things that I wanted to add that were not mentioned. And I don't
And
know.
Larry, I just wanted to know if you had anything to add about contributions to lifestyle in Costa Rica other than having Heidi Klum on your beach.
That's right. Heidi Klum did come to our beach for a couple of weeks. She heard I lived there and she had to come. Nobody's laughing.
I am.
Why not? It could be true.
It is. Oh, well, not that part of it, but.
You know, I mentioned it at the beginning of my speech. You know, the lifestyle is so wonderful here that I can't wait to get back from vacation, and I'm, you know, watching surf reports and lamenting that I'm actually going out on vacation. The food is healthy, it's fresh, it's really stress-free here. It's so relaxed. And I'll say it's like if you were gonna live on one of the Florida Keys with 50 other people. Hardly any interaction, quiet time, nature. You know, these guys talked about nature. I do a lot of photography. In 2012, I documented 800 species of insects on my 1 acre property. You can't, it's pure paradise, you know? And so light work, perfect weather, having in your subconscious every day that you're only going to put on flip-flop shorts and a t-shirt lends itself well to living a happy life.
Great. And it's like, I know we were talking, when I was down there about the butterflies. You have more species of butterflies than anywhere in the world, and they go down there. So I'm helping you. We have planted butterfly bushes in the back of our yard, and it's flourishing, and they're getting ready. This is the crop of monarchs that head down to your way. So
Yeah, perfect.
I'll be sending you some monarchs since we're not going to be down there anytime soon. We talked about technology, and I know you guys brought up, Adrian brought up Intel being there. I know there's a number of other companies that are bringing a lot of major industry there. Is there any other comment about that? And where are you with your with the Wi-Fi system as far as what the government's trying to do for the country?
Well, right now it's quite important because all the schools are being taught virtually. So that's been an effort to bring to those schools that they didn't have that opportunity, but they have invested an awful lot on that. And every school right now has virtual lessons. It's been difficult for the parents, especially for the ones who work, because, you know, it's paying attention to the kids while you're working, but it is available. And Costa Rica, everybody has a cell. It doesn't matter the resources that you have. It's amazing. And you have a television. You go out in the rural areas and you always have that television there that you see the antenna or whatever. It's always available. So communication in Costa Rica is quite easy and it's available.
Anything the other two of you want to add to that, or? Okay, so I know that since we've gotten involved with you guys the last 3 years, you know, when we started 3 years ago, they were working on trying to put together a shareable MLS system, a multiple listing system for properties between each other. Can you tell us a little bit about where you are with that right now between the two boards and each one maybe?
Well, perhaps Adrian would like to talk about it. Adrian?
Sorry, could you repeat that again?
Yeah, about your MLS system, about a sharing system for the multiple listing system. I know the two boards had at one point been, you know, close to talking about trying to put something together. Just wondering where you are and how far you've come with trying to work those issues out between the two.
Okay, well, as you know, the Costa Rican CCCBR and the CIGAR signed a historical document of alliance back in November at the NAR convention in San Francisco with Alejandro as witness. And this was historical because before that, the two the two associations were working everyone independently without any alliance or being together in the same path. So basically, with them, we start working this year on the MLS that Alan Lungo put it on work, I think at the beginning of this year, the first quarter of this year. And our CCBR is also working in its own MLS that we are expecting to have by mid-November. But with this alliance, we're already working together in this international MLS that actually is the only one that is working right now. And I think it's been a success. And people that wants to check properties, they just check at this international MLS of both associations, and they check options for investment. And as always I said, the Central Valley, which is the capital, which is where is the city of San Jose we are, CCBR is the strongest in the area, and the CRGAR is the specialized on the Guanacaste beaches. They're the masters there. And as always, we tell our international guests is if you expect to invest at the Pacific Coast, the best guys are there. If you want to come to the city, you come with us. So we're keeping an excellent balance, and I think it's the beginning of a great relationship with them, with our partners at the coast.
Good. We were very happy to hear that. I think, you know, you guys working well together, and hopefully keep you going down that good path. And you know, anything you know that we can do to help you here, that's what we're here for.
Brett,
I
wanted to,
yes.
if you allow me, I wanted to make a comment on the MLS system that you guys have in the States. For instance, if you have a property in your MLS, you're going to have the history of that property, etc. So it's easier because of all those database that you have there. We do not have that. So I wanted to clarify this because some of the referrals that we get, people from the States, they expect us, you know, if they're looking for a property, that immediately I'm going to send back the whole history. And it's not the case. We have to do it by foot, so to speak, you know.
Yes.
It's not going to be in there. That's why that sort of MLS that you have, we still do not have in Costa Rica. Until we do, then we're going to be comfortable. But at the meantime, we have to do our legwork to get all the market value, the history of the property, as most people in the States expected. So I thought it would be interesting to make the clarification, because sometimes they expect us to answer right away with the same information that you have, and that is not the case.
And
Yeah,
you bring up another good point. And I'm just going to ask it this way, because I know the way you're going to answer it is, how do you find a house in Costa Rica?
Well, we have our MLS, and also through the chats that we have, through all the information that the web page has in our association, as well as the Facebook. There's a lot of avenues. And also, in my case, and I'm sure that Larry and Adrian will have their own information on this. Costa Rica is very small. So in my case, if I need a property that I don't have, I know who to call. I know exactly, because I think, remember one thing, the connections, it's very important. Who do you know? The connections, who has it, who doesn't. We know commercially who has this. We know residentially who has that. If we have it, terrific. But if we don't, then that is our obligation to collaborate with the other person in order to please the client. And that we know that. And also we are incentivizing the executive, the exclusive listing. The exclusive listing obliges us to collaborate with someone else. In order for me to please the client, then if I have that exclusivity of this property, then I must share it with other clients if I don't have it. And this is how it works. So for some reason, we always find it, and they're always happy, but it's not as easy as you think with your MLS.
Well, and the point I was kind of getting at is, well, how do I find an address for a house in Costa Rica?
Well, now it's a lot easier because in the last 2 years, now all the signs in the streets have been done and all of it has been done. So, and you map it out with ways you can get any place. There's no reason now to get lost.
Okay, so they have addresses now, like numbers on the
yes,
house.
numbers and streets. And in fact, quite frankly, the whole metropolitan area is quite well designed. We just didn't have the names and the numbers of the streets. But now with Waze, because everybody goes by Waze, you don't get lost.
Well,
And Larry, are you? Where are
I
you?
live 100 meters from the painted cow. That's
That's what I was gonna say. I know in Guanacaste there were very few street names, much less addresses, on houses. So that is not. It's still the same.
not the same in my area.
Yeah.
Brett,
Kind of figured that. Okay, well, let's get into what we still have some 50 people here that are staying on. And I think one of the things that was really kind of on top of people's mind is how have things been affected by COVID-19? Let's start off with how's it affected real estate and what are you doing different than you did before
May I
to be
begin?
able to handle that?
Brett, can I? Brett, just a very quick second. I'm gonna have to leave, but before doing so, other than thanking you guys again, I wanted to mention that I have put on the chat box the address of the Find a Realtor directory that can be found under NAR.Realtor. So every single member of our association that is active in Costa Rica, so all of the international realtor members in Costa Rica from both associations can be found under Costa Rica, because you can break it down by country under that link. Okay, so all of the international realtor members we have in the country, the people that are friends from NABOR, from Naples Association of Realtors can do business with, those are all under the Find a Realtor directory. All right?
Great, thank you, Alex. That's great news. And we appreciate your time. I know you guys are busy. I know you're going 100 ways, but that's, just wanted to make sure. But thank you very much for helping us. Where were we? Oh, COVID-19. Okay, so what are you guys seeing as far as how are you doing business now compared to the way it was? And let's tag into this. I see a couple questions coming across the Q&A asking when will the borders open for U.S. citizens to come, and what are the restrictions for them if they come there?
Adrian?
I'll start off with how it's affected by business. Honestly, during my high season, which is the winter season for you guys, I'm normally working 70, 90 hours a week, 7 days a week. How has the pandemic affected my business? I'll bet you I work 75% less now. The clients that I have inquire and they're truly focused. In the last 4 months, you have to do things differently. So we've sold a number of homes on my team, 4 or 5 now, through live video, WhatsApp and Skype and FaceTime. There's people, I think this environment has really made people sit back and think about their dreams and maybe that this is the moment to attain them. So they're taking chances that likely they wouldn't have before, buying a house, spending $500,000 without actually coming into the house. But fortunately, and I'm sure the other 2 panelists can confer that, as professionals, we have set up a network of teams and ancillary professionals to ensure that when a buyer buys a house, we get the best engineer in there who looks at it and gives a proper report, and the best topographer and the best legal team. So, our confidence allows them to be confident in purchasing.
Ophelia?
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
No,
ahead.
I think Adrian will be a good one to answer this.
No, before my reply, Brett, I have to leave in 5 minutes because I have another appointment at 4:30 Costa Rica time. But I would love to answer this question if I have more time for another one, of course. As I told you before, the beach market is totally different than the real estate market in the Central Valley. And this is because our market at the beach, our primary target are foreign investors. And since March 14th or 13th, the two Costa Rican airports are shut down or closed. And we just opened recently, less than 2 weeks ago, I think one of the two airports. I don't know if Liberia is already open. Larry, do you know? Oh, it's open? Okay.
It's open.
Okay, thank you. But now we are only receiving flights from Europe. I think a lady, I think, asked a question about flights from Europe. We are receiving like two or three airlines every week from Europe that are traveling to Costa Rica. And we are receiving also planes from Canada for the moment.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, our borders are open with them right now. We're expecting sooner than later. I hope the government opened for the tourists of the United States, because you're our first market in the world for Costa Rica. I mean, you're the first. Last year, for the 3 million visitors we receive of tourists, 1 million were Americans.
Wow.
So it's 30% of our tourism come from your country. That's a big numbers. And answering your question about how is real estate market in the Central Valley, well, as I already told, the beach is almost stopped because there's no tourism and no foreign investors. But in the city, it's moving a lot less, of course, but it's still moving, because nationals and foreigners that live inside Costa Rica invest, rent, or do business. But we are now in a buyer's market right now. It's a time for opportunities. What that means, there's some opportunities in the Central Valley that you can find properties less than 25% of the original price that was before COVID. And in many areas, second home. So for example, I see some houses that used to be, I don't know, $300,000 and they dropped 50,000, or houses that we have sale, we receive offers or 15% discounts. And you see there's a lot of opportunities for investing in Costa Rica right now, because the prices drop off, and it's really interesting right now to do an investment in the hardwares, and I don't know how to say bodegas, Ophelia. Warehouses are a very good business right now. Actually, warehouses were the only business that maintain almost equal prices of renting and selling and developing before COVID, and it's a good business right now. Warehouses, and
the Amazons of the world are making a fortune.
Yeah, and the commercial areas are that receive the worst part of all of this, and you see many vacant spaces on malls in Costa Rica. Not a lot, but you can see that they're quite spaces on the market right now. That is my autopsy of the market right now in the Central Valley.
And Ophelia, I think you could kind of tag into this a little bit maybe, and Larry, you might know, or even Adrian, I'm not sure, but I was reading some things about what kind of priorities the government was setting up, and what the government was trying to implement to restore the growth back into the economy of the country. What are you seeing now as far as the government and their relationship with what they're trying to do with COVID-19 to get things running again?
Well, the government has been paying an awful lot of attention to the health issue. So they have really left out a bit opening up the economy, which has been our main problem, that we would like to have it more open. However, I think that now is beginning to happen. The private enterprise has really joined together with all the chambers to really knock on the government's door to help us open up the market, because right now the suffering and the results of being home for so long with all the restrictions is beginning to show in the economy of the country. And of course, this is what we are trying to achieve, to open it up. And I think they will hear us. It's just a matter of time, even though it's not totally closed. In fact, it's open, but what the problem is, Brett, is the restrictions on the cards, because in this month alone, I, for instance, could only drive twice a week, Mondays and Saturdays. So any other day of the week, I cannot. So if that restriction is what's stopping the economy opening up, because if you have a store that is open 7 days a week, but I cannot go when I please, obviously that constricts the economy. But their issue is, of course, trying to save the health, which they've done a tremendous job, but the economy has to have some freedom in order for us to operate. And for us in the real estate, it's been mostly virtual. Like Adrian says, is the buyer's market. However, let me tell you, the prices have not dropped that considerably. Has dropped some. It is the buyer's market. But you don't see the prices going like 50%. No, you don't see that here. Unless, you have an issue with the banks, that's a different story. But most of the time, people are holding on with their properties and with some reduction, but not as drastic as people might think. No.
I think you're going to see that all come back once things kind of settle down. You start to get more traffic there. You probably just have people who are, anxious to sell or a little concerned about selling when there's not much foot traffic out there looking. And again, I agree. Ophelia, it's got to be, if they can only get out 2 days a week, they can't look at properties unless they're doing it, virtually or whatever. So it's really changed your world. Guys, we've run about 30 minutes over. I've got staff here that we've got to let go home and stuff. I know we had some other questions and everything, and we'll try to get those together, maybe get some answers and see if we can reply through the email. Cheyenne, thank you very much for staying online. And Isabella, thank you for all your help with all this, and really appreciate, your assistance and stuff in doing this, and thank you for participating and being here. And from my heart, guys, thank you all for being here. Ophelia, Adrian, Larry, I'm so glad you guys came. It's been fun. I can't wait to get back down there as soon as things open. Believe me, it's on our schedule. We're just waiting.
You would be more than welcome. And thank you so much, Brad, and all your crew for allowing us this fantastic invitation. We appreciate it.
I think one thing this has shown us, we got to do it again, because there's so much more we can cover. We can just hit a couple other little topics, and maybe we need to talk about doing something again.
More than welcome to attend anytime, Brett, you ask me. We'll be more than welcome to be there. And thank you for the time of all of you. And more than welcome to receive you in Costa Rica and the whole Naples family. Anytime you guys want to come to Costa Rica after all this COVID story ends. And have a great day. Thank you very much. You too, guy.
I know you got to run. I really appreciated the time we spent there, and I'll tell you, if you haven't ever been there, the food is out of this world. You got to have the food.
Thank you so much, Brett.
Thank you guys.
Thank you,
Larry,
all for having us. Really, and if you need us, we're your professionals here in Costa Rica. They're happy to guide you, all of you, into making sure your clients have a great experience.
Absolutely. And Larry, if you would, keep us posted on Alan.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks.
Our
you
love
guys
to
take
Alan.
care.
Bye.
See y'all soon. Thanks.